Marriages are wonderful, incredible things. And sadly, here recently, it seems as if the marriage rates have just gone through the roof. Now, have they really? No, but they've been on a really steep upward trajectory. And so why do marriages fall apart? That's what we're going to be talking about this week on episode number 82 of The Relaxed Male. Hello and welcome to Relaxed Male, podcast that helps men change their relationship with themselves. I am your host, Brian, and I am a men's life and mindset coach who is here to help you understand that you don't have to suffer at your own expense. You can live your dream, and I encourage you to set, then pursue your goals. So join me as I change the mindset and attitudes of men so that they can be the leaders of their families and their destinies. Hey man, hello and welcome to The Relaxed Male. I am your host, Brian, and this is a show that each week we help men to get out of their own way, to help them find their why, embrace that passion that's been buried deep inside of them so that they can live their life on their own terms, be able to breathe, relax, and enjoy life instead of just, grinding their soul away to the time that they end up dying. There are so many things that we end up missing and lose, and we end up having such a poor outlook at life that I want to try to help those guys to actually see that no, life can be incredible and great and awesome. And that's what I've been doing here for the past 80. Well, this is the 82nd episode. So what is it that we're going to be talking about this week is marriages. And sadly, a lot of marriages fall apart. I think the divorce rate on marriages is like 62% or something like that, or it's a high number. And then if you get married again, the high number, that number just, doubles in itself. And those with even third marriages, they're even higher. They get a higher percent chance of that they're going to actually just fall apart and crumble and crash and burn. And that's what we're going to tackle this week. Why is it, and how we can actually, some things we can probably do, not probably, some things that we can do to actually be able to fix that, see if we can correct that and swap that around. And, maybe you've got a marriage that's on the rocks, and maybe we can help start correcting that. And showing the wife that, hey, life is better when you are married with me. It's not quite as dull and boring as it seems. But before we actually do that, I want to talk about an event that is actually going to be coming up here in a little over a month. In August 5th through the 8th. If you haven't booked your time, or booked set us up. I can't talk today, and I apologize. I have had one heck of a week, and I will talk about, or a heck of a day actually yesterday. And, we'll talk about that here in just a second. I just want to talk about Operation Tears of the 22 off the Hardball. This is for the veterans. This is an event. If you're a veteran, you get to come and unwind, disconnect, and let your mind reset itself by getting out in nature and just enjoying the heck out of life. It's there not to raise awareness of of anything really. Well, it's major, but they're not going to be beating you over the head with, like I said, I can't talk today, and I don't know why. Well, I do know why, but they're not there to just, pound on you saying, we've got to correct this. This is actually it's to help raise awareness of the 22 veterans a day that die. But this is more of those veterans that we have still on the earth, whether it's, the way back in World War II, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, the Middle East wars that we've had here recently, any of those wars, if you have been in the armed services anytime, the guys, Rich and Matt, they want you to come to Bird Adventure Center in the beautiful Ozarks, in Arkansas, and just unwind. Let your mind rest for a moment. Take all the worries, the fears, everything that's been plaguing you for the past years, and give you a chance to just set that aside, not think about it for 3 days. And you can do that and enjoy some incredible Jeep rides. They've got some Jeep clubs coming up, and just going to be giving the veterans rides up and down some apparently insane Jeep trails. There is places for you to be able to camp. There's going to be live music. I'm going to talk there, and see if I can help shift some of the mindset of our armed forces, our veterans, those guys who put their life on the line for this great country. And it is, like I said, it's over at the Bird Adventure Center for August 5th through the 8th. And there's going to be food, camping, good time. We're going to show up all smelling nice. And by the time we leave, we're going to smell like each other. So this is going to be a great time. I am so excited about what this is coming to be. If you are interested, you can go to relaxedmail.com/hardball, and that will take you over to their event page where you can actually sign up. If you are wanting to come and help and partake in the fun and all that, and you just want to reset and you're not veteran, that's cool too. They're not charging a whole crap ton of money. I think it's like $20-$30, something like that. I'll have to double check, but we want everybody to come. And if you are going to be in the Arkansas area around that time, come by, man. Have a hell of a good time. If you are, living over in California or whatever, and you're feeling the weight of the world weighing on your shoulders, please, man, come hang out with us. We are everybody there is going to be, be military minded, and there's going to be guys there who aren't going to be, psychiatrists or therapists or anything like that. They're just going to be the average Joe sitting next to you, knowing that you're going through a hell of a lot, and that they want to help you, and they want to encourage you and join up with the Brother at Arms, and help form and build new friendships, and where y'all can start getting together and doing things yourselves. This is such an amazing and important event. And I request that y'all all come down, enjoy, have a fun time. I'm going to be there. I'll be, like I said, I'll be talking. I'll be probably trying my hand at a little fly fishing. And so you're going to enjoy it. It's going to be a heck of a good time, and I want y'all to be there. So come by. Again, go over to relaxedmail.com/hardball, and it'll take you over to where you can get all the details. All right. So what's been going on this week? Holy crow. Well, this week itself was good. It was nothing terribly horrible happening up until yesterday on Saturday. I'm recording this actually on Father's Day. And we were needing to make a little run over to Amarillo, and do some shopping, get some stuff done, bought and things for a vacation that I'm supposed to be going on here at the end of next week. Well, I got a Father's Day present instead, and whether I wanted a Father's Day present or not, and it's an expensive Father's Day present. We've been driving around in a 2007 Jeep Grand Cherokee, and she has been a trooper. She just kept on going. She had problems. She loves eating relays for some reason, or she did love eating relays. And so from time to time, usually somewhere in the summer, one of her relays would just crap out, and we'd have problems getting her started. So the relays were cheap. So I've just, had 3 or 4 that I always had in the Jeep. And so we just start swapping out relays, and eventually she'd be up and she'd go and she'd run and be just smashing. Well, she died. Our Jeep died yesterday. And it was a sort of a quiet death. She did let us know that she was going about, I don't know, probably about 30 minutes outside of Amarillo. She just started acting weird. And so got to the first truck stop that we could get to there in Amarillo. We pulled in and didn't even get pulled in. As soon as we stopped at the stop sign there to make the turn, she died. She fought. She carried us all the way to as far as she could go, which was great because it was easy to get her pushed out of the way to a place where she could get picked up. And we went ahead and took her over to see if we could get her fixed. But apparently it was something with the engine head, because they weren't getting any, either cylinder cracked or something went, fell apart on her. And, they were going, yeah, we can get it fixed. You're either going to need one of two things. Either it's going to be a involved, fix, and that's going to be about, $2,500, or it's going to end up being a new engine, which is going to be, it's a new freaking engine. So it's probably like $10,000 or something, or $6,000 or $8,000. It's going to be a freaking boatload of money. And we were just like, well, we don't have that kind of cash. And so we ran over to the same place where we bought the Jeep, and looked around and found a Mazda CX-9 Touring Edition. Paid a little more than what we were really wanting to pay for a new car. But it wasn't like $40,000. It was, it was pretty high though. Because we were wanting, maybe 21,000, and she was, 27. Yeah, about 27,000. So, but she's only 5 years old. So we got a 2016, Mazda CX-9 Touring Edition, and good grief, dude, that thing's a freaking space shuttle inside. All I could think of on the drive home, cause if you've got everything from when you make a left or a right hand turn and you've got your headlights on, the headlights turn with you as you make the turn. So they come over so you can actually see what you're turning into. And all I could think of is all the stuff that could break on this. And so I have to fight myself with cause I believe the laws of attraction actually kind of killed the Jeep. Cause for the past month, anytime I ran over to like Lawton or some place like that, I all of a sudden would get this overwhelming feeling that the Jeep was going to die on us suddenly. And I would catch myself thinking that and going, no, that's not true. That's not really going to happen. Tried to turn it off, but I think I must have thought it a few too many times. So the universe answered and killed my Jeep off. So, but anyhow, so I've got a Father's Day present, beautiful black new SUV. I've never had a Mazda before, so I don't know what to expect with a Mazda, but that's it. So, but anyhow, that's all that I'm going to do on the yabbering for today. Each week, I got jumped into there and I completely forgot to do the rest of the intro, didn't I? So, but that's okay. If you are new to the show, man, I want to appreciate you coming over here. And especially, normally we don't do the whole, hey, what's happening in my life thing. That was just something that was really big, and I just wanted to talk about it for just for sharing. I have a tendency to share too much. So, but anyhow, so we got, if you're new to the show, you have, congratulations for finding the show. Thank you very much for listening to the show, and thank you for making it past my little rambling portion right there. Each week, we take a question, and that question, if it comes from you, and you can actually send me a question anytime you like, you can go to relaxedmail.com/contact and shoot a email to me that way, or you can actually just, go to Gmail or whatever email client you have and just go send an email over to Brian with a Y at relaxedmail.com and ask a question that way. And I will take those questions and I'll find one that I think kind of fits or I just really would like to answer. And then I go through and answer it on this show here. If for whatever reason I don't, I take the questions from Quora. And so I go through and and that's what's going to happen this week is I didn't get any question coming in. So we've got a Quora question. But before I jump in there, I just want to mention that the question of the week is brought to you by the Brotherhood of Men. This is a men's group that I have put together to help us become better men. We are so many times we're so busy. We are focused in on our families and our kids and the jobs that we go to that we end up not taking care of ourselves. And that's what the Brotherhood of Men is about. It's about getting our 4 pillars of masculinity and men and manliness built back up, taken care of, and turned into and apply those skills to making our lives even better. And the Brotherhood of Men is a group that I've got 4 different groups. You can actually choose which one fits you best. We do a Tuesday morning, Tuesday evening, and a Thursday morning, Thursday evening. And they're right now. There's a couple of them where no one's taken on. So if you actually want to have some one-on-one coaching for a really inexpensive price, you can do the Tuesday morning. Nobody wants to do anything on Tuesday, so we can do Tuesday or Tuesday night. So we have those times available that are just completely empty. But I'm trying to get this filled up. I want these four groups filled up with men who are dedicated to helping each other out. We are wanting to make sure that you have the skills and the ability to lead your family in a strong, productive, and caring way. And that's what the Brotherhood of Men is about. We help each other. We build each other. We are a band of brothers. You will develop deep friendships. If you're one of us, the types of guys who you've realized, hey, dude, I don't have any friends, or I've got 1-2 friends and that I can rely on. Well, again, the Brotherhood of Men is a place that you will come for the experience. You will stay for the friendships and the relationships that you develop here. There's things that I've got planned with the Brotherhood of Men down the road that will, if you're in here and you've been here for a while, you will definitely benefit from some of the other perks and tidbits and items that are going to be coming about through the Brotherhood of Men when we start getting everybody filled up. So with that, let's go ahead and let's jump into our question. And our question, like I said, came from Quora, and it is, why is the divorce rate so high, especially in Western countries, if love marriages work? Well, love marriages do work. I will give the person who asked this question that. They do work, but why do they fall apart? Well, there's several different theories that actually go into why. My big one is there's 2, and I mentioned one in my response to the person who asked the question. But the second one kind of came about, resurfaced. Probably about 4 or 5 days after I actually wrote the response to this. And the first and the main one is because of the no-fault divorce that was put into place back in like 1968 or 69. Yeah, 1969. By actually one of our greatest presidents. And it was when he was the governor of California, and Ronald Reagan actually put this into California law. And because he was his intention, and this is one of those, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. His intention was to keep people from doing some of the horrendous stuff that they did to try to get to qualify for a divorce. They would try so many different really low things, and they still do those same low things even now. So no, the no-fault divorce didn't actually fix anything, and it just caused the divorces to actually increase exponentially. And a no-fault divorce is basically beforehand, he had if he had an affair, there were different reasons, actual legal reasons that you could get divorced beforehand. Divorces were pretty much a binding contract. You said, I do, and she said, I do, and y'all fought it out. And that's one reason why our great grandparents and our grandparents stuck together so long, because they were from that area where once you got married, you stuck it out. If y'all were having a problem, well, you better figure out how to get that problem fixed. But nowadays they don't. There's people who get, celebrities, they get married, and 2 months later they're like, yeah, it just wasn't working. And they separate. And so that's the number one reason, is because divorce rates have skyrocketed ever since 1969. They have gone up and up and up. And now, interestingly enough, women actually initiate around 80% of all the divorces that are going on today. Now, the other reason why divorces have skyrocketed and have gone up is actually, it's more of the government has stuck its finger into something that it didn't need to be sticking its finger into. And it is all around the Great Society, and the Great Society has decimated the American family, because now you don't have to have a husband around to provide for you. You have Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam will give you the money needed for food. Uncle Sam will you don't have to worry about taking care of that baby, because Uncle Sam will come in and will help you out. And there's a big problem with that, because now guys aren't being held nearly as responsible for the children that they produce. Women don't have to worry about who it is that they're actually sleeping with. They can easily just go, oh, okay, well, I'm pregnant now. I don't need you in my life. I'm just going to go. And they use the system for more of a reason to not get married. They're more, they can make more, they can have more money coming in if they don't marry. And so the Great Society is probably more responsible for people not getting married these days, as opposed to why the divorces are actually happening. The divorces are mainly because of the no-fault divorce. But why are divorces becoming so great? Well, there's several different reasons. And most of them center, and guys, you ain't going to like this, but a lot of them center around us. That's one reason why I use the analogy of a pillar. We have the 4 pillars, the 4 fields that a man has to make sure that he is always working on. And these are integral to a marriage working, to a marriage becoming successful. Because a lot of times today, with the ways people look at men and the way people treat men, a lot of times men they think and men have developed the wrong thought that all they have to do is they have to go out, they have to work, they come home, they bring home a paycheck, and that's all they need to do. They can sit on their butt and watch television. Now, that's a general oversimplification. I do understand. But because I'm not going to go and cover every type of scenario for time's reasons, we're going to stick with the oversimplification. But men, and I'm guilty of doing it too. It's where you got home and you're just, all right, sit down. You either pick up a video game controller, or you turn on the television and you do this, and wife needs you to do that something. All right, fine. You get up and you may go do it. And on Saturday might be lawn mowing day, and you kind of do just the bare minimum. You're not doing anything to work on and build your marriage. And guys sit around and we've developed a lot of grown boys, and we've developed a lot of guys who are very good at dealing with a victim mindset, or not dealing, but just having a victim mindset. And so these guys, all of a sudden, when I go on to the different divorce support groups that I'm a part of, I see men all the time, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 or more a day, will almost say verbatim, word for word, well, I just got handed divorce papers. This is such a shock. I thought we had a good marriage. Yeah, you thought you had a good marriage. Why did you not know? Because you weren't doing your job. You weren't communicating. That's one of the things that really breaks down. And that's where so many of the problems come into play. We don't communicate. We don't talk. We don't have the level of communication, level of connection that you really need to keep working on. Marriage isn't a set it and forget it type of deal. It's not a Ronco product. It is something that's been going on for thousands of years. And the heart of all those problems are actually the fact that the men don't focus in on the 4 pillars of a relaxed male, these 4 pillars of masculinity. Those 4 pillars are a man's mind, a man's body, a man's soul, and a man's community. Now, you've heard, everybody talks about mind, body, soul, and community is one that it gets left out a lot. But a man's mind, this is, guys, you get home, you sit down, you plop down in front of the television, you watch football on Monday and Sundays and Saturdays and Wednesdays, and I think they even got games on Thursdays now. You've got, sports going on all the time. Now, okay. Now, granted, I will admit, I am not a sports person. I see sports and I'm like, there is more important things to be doing in my life than watching a bunch of guys carry or bounce or throw or punt or kick or whatever it is they do with an object, typically a ball, from one end of a field or court to the other. I understand the excitement that it generates because I have been to sporting events before, but again, can't talk. And it does get exciting. I've gone even to, I enjoy myself whenever I go to high school football or high school basketball games. They're fun. I get to understand it, but for me, there are more important things going on than watching a kid, watching people bash each other over the head with for the control of a ball. And so when it comes to man's mind, we stop learning. Men need to actually grab nonfiction books, and a combination of nonfiction and fiction. Fiction has its perks also. You need to just let your mind relax, unwind, go to a weird, strange world, whether it's full of horrors of Stephen King's Castle Rock, or you're trekking across Middle Earth. There's a lot of great things that happen in fiction books. But do not make your life and your reading habit strictly around fiction, because there's a lot of incredible information being picked up out of autobiographies, and biographies themselves get to learn what great men did to become great. And a lot of times you'll find out that there are things that you can actually do. There are books that help you. Like last week on the show, I had John Tang and his hero mindset. I've had Trip Lanier on talking about This Book Will Make You Dangerous. These are books that will help you to understand you as a man, you and things and different events that are happening in your life. If you're wanting to communicate with your wife better, there are books out there on communicating better. You can take up some of the classics like 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, How to Win Friends and Influence People. People shy away from that book because they think that it is something that is supposed to be, something smarmy about it, because you're how to win friends. So you're doing something underhanded. No, it tells you how to actually become a likable person, how you can come around to actually enjoying having people to look forward to seeing you. And, when you become a friend to a person, you become an influencer to that person. So How to Win Friends and Influence People is a great book that was not just, something that came popping out of Dale Carnegie's head. He actually sat down with quite a few of the, well-known, rich people and highly successful people and interviewed them and found out what it was that they did, and found several key points that they always were mentioning. And so because of that, he was able to piece together this How to Win Friends and Influence People. He's got several other books that he's put out also that help you out tremendously. There's so many incredible, useful books. You want to learn about, finance? There's books out there on finance, how to invest in the stock market, you can become educated in anything you're interested in. You want to do woodworking. There are books about woodworking. There's YouTube channels dedicated to nothing about other than how to make the perfect dovetail, say I don't do much woodworking, but, dovetail joint. Thank you. There are so many different things out there that if all you have to do is have a touch of curiosity, want to learn about it, and sit down, and I get it. Our mind and our brains are so used to the phone and the television and the tablets and the computer and the video games and all these other things that whenever we get around to sitting around to try to read a book, all of a sudden our mind's going, oh, it's time to settle down, time to slow down, time to sleep. And so a lot of guys have the very common problem of, I get 3 pages in and I fall asleep. Well, that's one reason why you fall asleep, is because you say you fall asleep. You've programmed your mind to go, oh, we're reading a book. Book means sleep. So let's go to bed. All right. But if you were to change your programming and start saying, you know what? I am someone who reads 10 pages. That's all you have to do. Read 10 pages. Most books, John Ting's is a fairly thick book, but you've got 515 plus, pages, not by much more than that, but so that'd be 10 pages a day. That's, 50 days. That's less than 2 months of reading through a book, going 10 pages a day. You can make it through. You don't have to read a book a week. And actually, I don't ever recommend people to read a book a week. Read the book as fast as you need and write down the lessons that you learn from that, especially if it's in a nonfiction. Write in the margins. I know the librarians around are going, oh my God, they're freaking out. And you don't need to actually worry about what those librarians are thinking. Those are public books you don't write in the margins on. Your books that you own, write them up. Take some highlighters and start marking the tar out of them. They're there to be consumed. And when you mark in them and you write in them and you jot down notes on them, you're doing just that. You're consuming that book. You're learning the riches that book has. So feed your mind. Talk to people, get involved in groups that help expand. So if you do like woodworking, or you're doing something like I was going to say metallurgy, but that's not it. Blacksmithing. Thank you. Yesterday was a humdinger, and if you continue, you can learn, take blacksmith groups. There's blacksmith classes. Just get out there and start learning. That learning creates the confidence that you need to be able to do other things, but it also creates it helps you find what your passion is, and your passion feeds into the third pillar, which is a man's soul. The second pillar, though, is the man's body, and the man's body is one of those things that, you hear people talk, well, people like dad bods. No, in all reality, women don't like dad bods. They may not be for, the muscle bound, hard as a rock type of guy. And okay, that I understand, but you want a guy who is going to be able to protect. She's going to want a guy who can protect her and the kids. And if you are, 100 pounds overweight, guess what? You're not going to be able to protect her. You might be able to do a little bit of fighting them off for a little while, but eventually you're going to get tired because you're sitting there swinging around an extra 100 pounds. Extra 50 pounds is actually is too much. I know this because I'm trying to ditch an extra 50 pounds. When you are overweight, believe it or not, women don't really find you as sexually appealing as someone who is in shape, who is fit, and who is taking care of himself. If he's taking care of himself, you're showing your wife that you are dedicated to her and that you're going to try to live as long as humanly possible. If you are just, you're 50, 100, 200 pounds overweight, you're not taking care of yourself. You're slowly trying to kill yourself. And that's where the problem comes into play. A little slightly soft guy. Okay. He doesn't need to have, 3% body fat. If you're in shape though, you can sit there and you can do, 100 push-ups in a day. You can do, 100 sit-ups. You can do 100 burpees. Those things are, if you're able to do those and you're able to maintain those and you're able to build your body strength that way, you're not going to ditch all the body fat, but you're going to have muscle and you're going to have strength and you're going to have the endurance that is needed to be able to protect your wife and kids. And so, yes, women like for a man's body to be in shape. You need to be able to live as long as possible. The odds are already stacked against us in that our life is nowhere near as long as, well, it's almost as long as a woman's, but a woman typically, I think, lives 5 to 10 years longer than men. So get into shape. Now, the man's soul is the third pillar. A man's soul is the ability to produce stuff, not just kids, but, you find we are, children of God. If you're a Christian. God is also known as the creator. So if we are made in the image of God, that means it is built in us that we must create stuff also. Now that can be dang near anything. That can be a movement like what I'm trying to build these days. It can be a blog, which I'm also doing. It could be a YouTube channel. It can be a coffee table. It can be, horseshoes. You can build anything. You can build a business. You can build a charity. Build something that feeds you, something that just really excites you. One of the things you can do if you're wondering and trying to figure out what feeds your soul, go out and start paying attention when you get yourself lost in a task. When all of a sudden you're down there, you're doing something, the next thing you know, 4 hours have passed and you're like going, dude, wow, I didn't realize I got this much done. Whoa. When you find that you enter into the flow in a particular task, that is not necessarily the case of what your true passion is, but it fits in with who you are very nicely. And so that's definitely a good clue as to what your passion is. Think back on what you loved to do as a kid and what is it that you liked, you were very noted in doing. If you have problems thinking back that far, ask your brothers, sisters, parents. They can often tell you, "Hey, you used to sit and play with Star Wars days on end." Well, what were you doing with those Star Wars? Well, you were making your own adventures. Maybe you're supposed to be a storyteller. Maybe they couldn't keep crayons and watercolors out of your hand. So maybe you were actually need to start doing some painting. There are things out there that you can do. And your clues that your parents have and your brothers and sisters have, they can help you to find what it is that feeds your soul. And you don't have to make money off of the things you do for your feeding your soul. It could just be a hobby. Maybe you like flying RC planes. Okay. You're not going to have anybody come by and go, well, so how much money do you make off of flying that RC plane? Nothing. I enjoy seeing if I can get a scale model of a C-130 to do a loop-to-loop. it's just things that you want to do. And these are what feeds your soul. You get curious, you look into something, you discover it, and then you take it, you soak it all in. And from there you expand and you enjoy. And that's feeding your soul. Now, the last one is the big one. It's the man's community. It's almost as if the moment you say, I do, that means, oh, hey, I am done hanging out with a bunch of guy friends. Now, sometimes you will have some friends who hang out and they still stay close, but most of the time we seem to forsake our friends and we just leave and we stop seeing them. And next thing you know, 20 years has gone down the road and your wife has decided she's done with you, and you're throwing underwear on the floor every night, that she's leaving, and you go, oh, well, I need someone to talk to. And so you go to call up your friends and you realize you don't have any friends, or you may have one, but he's not he's not a close friend. He's someone who you talk with, during lunchtime while y'all, are on lunch break. You don't have a band of brothers. And that's where a lot of the problems come into place, is that, that band of brothers just does not exist for us. So those we need to have a community. You need to start building up a band of brothers, like having joining up with, like the Brotherhood of Men. That's a good place to start. We can at least get you setting in the right direction to where you can find a group of men that you can meet with weekly in your area. But there's a lot of different reasons that the marriage falls apart. And I'm jumping into the main topic, because I realize I've been talking for quite a while just on that, on the answer to this week's question. So let's go ahead and cap it on that. The reason why marriages fail is because men have stopped doing things that men need to do. That's it, flat out. That's what the main problem of it is. And if we were to shore up those 4 pillars and change some of the other items that we're going to be talking about in the next section, you will find that you can actually do a lot to take your marriage, flip it around, and find that it is just absolutely a wonderful event and wonderful to have in your life. So now with that, let's go jumping over into the main topic. Why do marriages fail? Well, marriages fail a lot of reasons because of what I just talked about. Why divorces happen? Because of men don't take care of their 4 main pillars. But there's a few other reasons. Biggest one being, or not even the biggest one, but one of the big ones is that the victim mindset. Men, you can't be respected when you're a victim. Victims do not get respect. They do not have respect. They cannot generate respect when they're playing the victim. Playing the victim means that the wife has to go off and put the pants on. You are no longer the wearer of the pants. You are now just a guy. You're just somebody that's hanging out and living in the house. And I know what that victim mindset does. I did that victim mindset a whole lot, and it was centered all around the fact that my wife was having, she was having woman problems, and I was all bent out of shape because she didn't want to have sex as much. And that victim mindset grew and grew and grew until it was just, the marriage was just, it was just us being roommates. And there's a lot of problems with that because, she may turn around and decide, you know what, I'm tired of having a roommate. I want to have someone I can have have an adventure and adventurous life with. Well, if I'm sitting there playing a victim, I'm not going to want to go off on an adventure because what if this goes wrong, or what if that goes wrong? What if you go out into the world and you have a great time? The victim mindset is all about them. It's not about anybody else. It is all about them. And that victim mindset sucks the life out of a marriage every time. And you hear these guys, like I said, when they in the divorce support groups, they're all, well, I don't understand why she left. I do everything that I can. I work and I lift, I do all this other stuff. And when I get home, I mow the lawn, I cook everything and blah, blah. And he goes on and they make huge lists of everything that they do. And then she was ungrateful and she left. Well, no, there's actually a big reason why she up and left. And that's the thing that most of us men, and actually a lot of women, don't realize we have. We each have an emotional tank. And this emotional tank analogy actually came from Gary Chapman, and he wrote a book called The 5 Love Languages. And when you can speak those love languages, you're actually making deposits into your wife's emotional tank. Now, I kind of graced upon this by accident before because I was talking about how you need to develop emotional. You have an emotional balance. So we all have kind of like an emotional bank inside of us. We have to make deposits of emotional contributions, and this is actually you can look at it that way with the 5 love languages too. You need to make sure that your emotional balance, is in the positive. You don't want to be running a negative balance because eventually that person's going to give up and just leave. Now, the 5 different love languages are gifts, quality time, words of affirmation, acts of service, and physical touch. Now, most of us guys, we probably is our primary or secondary love language is a physical touch. Yes, most people have at least 2. Some may even have 3 that really resonate with them. Gifts. This is giving. If your wife likes to make sure that she gives gifts, she's always making sure that there's a gift given to you. That's probably her love language. And if you're not giving her gifts on a regular basis, she's probably running out of her emotional balance is getting low. Quality time. That's that one that I think this is the one a lot of women actually have. They want quality time of where you just sit and you listen to them, you talk and you share your day. You don't have to go into all the details, but share and be able to emotionally connect with them. Don't, fix problems. You're just there to stare in each other's eyes. Maybe it's she likes it where y'all just sit and watch a particular show. Whether you like the show or not, it's not the case. Maybe she wants to sit and watch the show with you. To her, that is a bit of quality time. She just wants to be with you in the same room. Words of affirmation, that's that attaboy. Hey, you're doing a great job. A lot of guys like the words of affirmation too. A lot of women like the words of affirmation too. We want to be told that we're doing a good job. And so if you're finding that that she's always giving you compliments and stuff, it's probably good. You need to be giving her words of affirmation. Man, you went out and you got all those bills paid. Just amazing that how well you do that. Give them words of affirmation, but make sure that they're meaningful and not just, well, you look nice today, and you not even look at her. Acts of service. This could be if she's always saying, you never do the dishes. I'm always the one who's having to do the dishes. I'm always taking the trash out. I'm always doing this. I'm always doing, and you hear those really grinding nag words. A lot of times she's telling you, hey, my love language is acts of service. I need you to do some things around the house to show me that you love me. All right. And maybe that is mowing the lawn. Maybe, your love language is acts of service. And so you bring the shoes in and you, in the wintertime, and you warm them up so she doesn't have to put her feet in cold, wet shoes. There's things that we do. You can pay attention. And if you look and you sit back and you watch and examine and really focus in on what's going on, you can see what those love languages are. Now, the last love language is the physical touch. And yes, that also includes sex, but it's not only sex. It is, maybe you have to, as your wife walks by, you kind of put your hand on her shoulder, or you touch her back. A lot for me, physical touch is my number one love language. And I know that simply because whenever we're in bed together and I'm going to sleep, my wife, she's a night owl. She sits, she'll read or watch television until, midnight, 1:00 in the morning. And I'm an early bird. So I go to bed around 10 or 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock is real late for me. And so whenever I go to bed and I'm getting myself comfortable, I'll roll over on my side and I'll usually will have my hand touching her somewhere. Either it's on her back or on a leg or somewhere. I'll be touching her somewhere. And for me, that's just, it's comforting just to be able to touch her that way. She's kind of like my security blanket, and so just being able to touch her is comforting to me. I like being able to touch her. Now, is that her emotional love language? Honestly, I don't think so. I think if I was to guess what my wife's love languages are, and I've been going through this, through the process of getting it figured out, I think hers are acts of service and words of affirmation. But there also could be some gift in there too, because she does love to give gifts. So, but anyhow, figure out what her two main love languages are and start speaking those love languages. And that will take you from being just regular Joe into super, super hubby in very, very little time. Now, it's not going to be right off the bat because if it's been a long time and she's been hurt for a while and she's been been running a negative balance in her love account for a long time, then it's going to take you, showing her that you're serious. You're not just trying to build it back up to zero. You're trying to start overflowing it and start dishing out a lot of returns into her investment. So it's going to take a while, and it's going to take a long while for some. You may end up seeing that old girlfriend of yours really blossom and become this the giggly girl that she used to be. But to start, you have to start actually making an effort. Don't wait for her. You do. You're the guy. You can do it. Another thing that happens is men stop talking. You get home, you sit down, you watch television. She's in the bedroom. She's on her own television, and y'all don't say, 15 words to each other. You want supper? Yeah. Okay, let's go get some food. You go get food, come back, and that's all. You may talk a little bit about the day, but there's nothing. Y'all don't have long, deep conversations all the time. And now this works into, the quality time. But at the same time, y'all need to talk more often. You need to talk just not about, day-to-day business, but goofy stuff like what's happening in the world, what's not happening in the world. Here so-and-so did such and such, actually have conversations, start connecting on different levels. Another thing that, is, that's killing marriages is that people have stopped becoming spontaneous. Now, it's not that you have to all spring a trip to Paris on her, but, maybe one day out of the week or, once a month or so, you come walking in, you set everything down, you go, hey, pack a bag. We're going to go spend the night over in, say, the next city over. Or you're going to go down, you're going to go just spend a couple days someplace else, just out of the blue. Maybe she's a camper and you say, hey, grab your stuff. We're fixing to go camping real quick. We're going to go spend the night out in the woods. If you can do that. You can be spontaneous. Don't have your day planned out every second of the day. Make sure that you have those, hey, here's something. And because if you stop being spontaneous, your life will just slip by. And that's what causes the next problem. And the reason why marriages fail is because you are drifting. Drifting is that case where you really don't have a point. You kind of have an idea where you would like to go, but you don't have a rudder. You don't have a sail. You're just drifting, and you figure you'll wind up wherever it is you're supposed to be. Well, where you're supposed to be might be, flat broke and divorced if you're doing it that way. But if you grab a hold of the helm and you actually control the rudder of your life, you're more likely going to land up as rich and successful than if you are to just, leave it to the winds of fate, because the winds of fate are not going to know where you want to go. And then finally, and we talked about it before, your one or all of your 4 pillars have collapsed. Start getting those things built up. If you're wanting help getting your pillars rebuilt, let me know. Go to relaxedmale.com/contact. Say, hey, I want to get. I've got some weak pillars here. I need to get those fixed, and we will work through it. We'll start seeing what we can do on getting you up and moving again. So, guys, with that, I know I have talked way long on this one, and I want to go ahead and I want to let you go. I want to thank you very much for taking the time to listen. If you enjoyed this show, you liked it, please share it out with your friends, your family. Share it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, any place. If it's on Instagram, just take a screenshot of it and share it up there, and let your followers know that you're listening to Relaxed Male. That helps get our show out, the knowledge of our show out to everybody, because they take the recommendations of people who they know a lot more seriously than they do the recommendations of a bunch of strangers. But if you do want to go ahead and do a rate and review, if you're on Apple, you can go to relaxedmale.com/Apple, and that'll take you over to our page on the Apple website and Apple Podcast site, and there you can actually leave a rating and review. Now, that doesn't do anything for our rankings like a lot of people want to think, but those who come through and they see Relaxed Male and they look and they see that hey, there are 47 likes and a couple or 47 5 stars, and there's a couple 3 1 or 2 stars. They're going to they see that and they go, yeah, that's a really okay, I can see why these people are liking this, or I can see why these people aren't liking this. But if you could go and give some 5 stars, that would do a lot for me and help me to know that I'm on the right track. If you don't have an Apple account, that's fine. You can go to relaxedmale.com/podchaser, and there you can leave a rating and review too. Guys, thank you again for listening. If you are wanting to get this show dropped into your phone or whatever listening device of your choice, you can go to relaxedmale.com/subscribe, and I have got ways for you to subscribe or follow our show in there. You can follow us on Apple Podcasts, and if you do follow us on Apple Podcasts, once you hit the plus button, go ahead and hit that down arrow. That way it downloads, and that way you don't have to worry about using up all your data just to because even unlimited data is still limited. So that way you can download them to your phone and not have to worry about streaming them. So guys, with that, I'm going to let you go. Thank you all again for listening. Talk to y'all next week. Till then, bye.